Well, I had to cut it short. I heard a tink. I grabbed the brake. Of course, no brakes. Because it's after the drive line. I'm gonna have to do something about that. It actually pulled the master link. If you can see it. It's stretched. So a rivet chain would probably be the best. I don't know. Because this is a quad chain. I gotta clean it up. It's a good chain. See how bad a shape it's in. But I mean, it's held up for 2 years. It's pretty good. Putting 100 horsepower to that thing. So, there's always being changes. If the stupid thing would stop impressing me, I'd be done with it. But it keeps doing great things. For the way excessive torque steer, I do have a stabilizer now. It's got a little bit of plant. It's not leaking oil, but once you start, when you jerk back, it'll have a, like it slips and then dampens. One, if this even helps, improves, because it's working 60%, I'll go buy a new one. It's a zero turn control handle strut. Wheelie bar is on, and I'm pretty sure we'll set it a couple inches from the ground, and it'll, I mean, right now I'm jumping on the back. It's not lifting up the front, but I've got inches of clearance, so if I go over uneven ground, it doesn't grab that and pick up the back tires. It's kind of going to be like an anti-squat, but I'm pretty sure I'm trying to get rid of the bunny hop, the bouncing. If we can keep all tires in the earth, we'll do good. But yeah, strut, so steering modification, wheelie bar was simplified because I needed a little more leverage, and I was getting kind of tired of the airplane cockpit, whatever steering setup I had. So I took a set of snowmobile bars, made them as straight as I could. It's basically like a drag setup. I got a throttle that makes full movement, opens the carburetors all the way up now. Cut the grips and had these little, don't even remember what they were for, but these were short, now they're on, and it kind of keeps my hand when I'm on it from sliding off, or the grip sliding off. Anything to keep my hands on the steering wheel and be able to correct anything. But everything's it. We just need to work the kinks out, the broken master links, exit the cage, so we'll lose some weight. I'm gonna keep, I think, that bar, because it is stabilizing the footboard to the fender and it goes all the way through. So I'll cut it off and it'll kind of keep the rear structure rigid, solid. But we'll be getting rid of all this. I'll probably leave, actually just noticed that. As long as it's not taller than my seat, this will come under the fender, come up. I'll cut it here and here, because that's what my radiator is hooked to. So we'll try to leave that. And I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna get like a shifter cart seat. So if something goes wrong, we're rolling, getting out of control, like, it's gonna suck. I mean, I don't wanna jump off of something for no reason, but I wanna exit the check and let this thing go bouncing. I don't wanna be stuck to it. It's, like I said, it's too small. I mean, if it was a vehicle with a roll cage, it would win the battle of tree, telephone pole, guardrail. You know, anyways, it would have, if anything, a bigger vehicle is going to have crumple zones. It gives a little. There's no crumple zone. This is gonna fucking hit something, stop, and your brain's gonna come out of your head. Clutches are just about perfect. It's engaging just under 4,000. We're gonna put, you're allowed to do 3 washers, I guess, on the forms. I got 2. I'm gonna throw 1 more washer in it, see if I like it. It'll probably bring it up into the low 4s, mid 4,500 RPM engage, which now will really put a beat. Actually, no, I think that's probably why I'm master links up. But honestly, on pavement, you would think it would be more abusive than the grass, unless that bouncing, wheel hopping thing's what's doing it. But whatever. If we get everything to stop braking and we engage at 4,500, let's pray for a 1.6 or 1.6 or something. And that's literally, I got up front of my camera this thing marked, and then I had a line where the 60 foot was, and then I just followed my camera frames, and I don't think those are gonna lie. I don't know, somebody comment if they're inaccurate. You know, at this point, if all that works, really the biggest gain, I think, will be losing the cage, the weight, you know, building a wheelie bar that's as stronger out of something lightweight. Those rear wheels are super light. The front steel, it's a composite, like a carbon fiber composite rim. It's a steel rim. Those are almost as heavy as the rears. You know, if we could find a plastic hood that fit it, get rid of the metal, I mean, there's some weight we could save. And to mention, this is my many projects this motor's been in. Overheated how many times, never had air filters on it. It's been seized up because I let it sit outside for too long one time. Triple. I have 3 others, and I have one of them that almost has no hours on it. That when everything is worked out, kinks and all, I'll throw the good motor in it. And the only way I'm doing it is if I can get rid of this single pipe expansion chamber for 3 cylinders. I want triple pipes on it. We'll put the EFI back on it. I'm pretty sure this thing will go. I mean, if we can get it to do, say, 80 to 95 miles an hour in the 300 foot, that should impress people. And for the haters out there, and it's a go-kart, not a lawnmower, I'll put the lawnmower deck on it, and I will turn it on going down the drag strip and be blowing sand and dust everywhere just to say, lawnmower it is. And for this next part, just so it makes sense, because I didn't really record enough from what I changed and built to tested to started explaining, this next areas on the steering, chassis, and some ideas I have of making it go faster. And a lot of you that have been leaving comments, I appreciate it. They've been super helpful. I've used some of them. Keep viewing. That like button, always helpful. I've been doing pretty good in that area. Keep subscribing, sharing. Thanks, everyone. Oh, and real quick, the long form content, check some of that out. You might have to skip around some of it. I'm getting better at formatting it and editing it. But that's the only way I'll get this channel monetized. But at that point, I'll be able to do a lot cooler projects, I think. Not that money's everything, but even to build it yourself, shit costs money. But want to thank everybody again. Thank you. They're pretty even. And the trick was, because they're for a 0 turn, for the control handles. Full lock, not binding, not pulling it out of the body. Steering linkage, not binding, both ways. And if you can see, there's kind of a lot going on the front end. The lower control arms are kind of fixed, welded, because I wasn't doing suspension on this specific mower. The uppers are still movable, pivot, so I can get the knuckle apart and stuff. But then this link binds off of here, you tighten it, so this can't go up or down, and it acts like they're both locked. So we're not just relying on this lower. Then you got your steering all the way from up there, coming through better than what lawnmower U-joints on steering would be, to here, to the four-wheeler steering, to the snowmobile, what do you call them, tie rods. So you got one of these on each side, and now we got a stabilizer on each side. I've got adjustable stops I made. What else do I got that's annoying? Oh, this is the bar for the motor not to have the clutches when we're launching it pull each other together. Proper belt tension makes these things run and rip. You get your full gearing. But yeah, there's kind of a lot going on. And I kind of made it so if I ever did, say, wad this thing up into something, the steering has one, and then just past this dash, what do you call it, U-joint, shaft, two, U-joint, shaft to the front. So this thing can kind of, if that makes sense, not stab me in the chest. It would collapse, more than likely. You know, this would go up, that would go down. The only thing I could do to really ensure something is, one, don't crash. Two, use a slip joint. You know, almost like a drive shaft, or probably what's in steering of cars, so they don't kill people. So as you can tell, I do think of a lot of the safety. I got to make sure I can turn, and I'm doing this one-handed with the phone, I can turn this thing fast enough, because it did stiffen it up quite a bit. So if I can't turn it quick enough, I'll end up either taking one off, seeing if one will work, or putting them in on a different angle so they'll different gearing. Like if you have a swing arm of a dirt bike and you put the shock, you know, closer to the pivot point, or rear, or closer or further back to the rear tire, you would have, you know, different suspension or whatever. So like this four-wheeler, the shock's way up there in the wishbone, or what do you call it, the suspension travel. So I think it uses less shock but travels further than if you were to take that shock, put it back here, you wouldn't have as much travel, and it would ride like an F350. I know I'm horrible at explaining stuff, but it makes sense in my head, so that's all that matters. Yeah, tomorrow hopefully we can rip it and we don't break a chain. I'll have to spin it around, but yeah, I ended up taking a wider master link, welding the already, you know, I took one like this, welded, reinforced and welded this, slid the backer on here, put it on the chain, and then put two more, and then welded it. It's a little fatter than the chain by, you know, here. You can see how wide these links are. I can put 2 or 3 more clips on there. I'm pretty sure the master link's not going to break now, so we'll see what the next weakest link is, because I haven't really actually broke any chains. It's always been master links now that I think about it. I might have got a shitty batch. Wheelie bar's done. Shorter, lighter. No, not as much play. Tire still is flat. Got an adjuster here. Can go up and down with it. What is cool is I forgot about, if I spin that all the way down and touch the ground and then jack up the front, and I do it right, it brings all 4 tires off the ground when I'm warming it up or testing or checking all the chain tensions. Because that's another thing I do, crawl back under it and tension this chain, because it was already on there at one point, so it was stretched as far as it was going to stretch. And then the brand new chain I put on, I had to change it all, and now I got to change it back. Somewhere in the video, I think I commented that we're gonna lose the cage soon. Honestly, in the yard, short bursts, I don't mind it because I would bounce out of this thing roughly for how bumpy it is. And I've been changing the tire pressure to try to get less bounce out of it, but if you have barely any air pressure in it, it doesn't weigh enough, it still bounces. And then I've noticed I got about 14 in the front and 8 or so in the back. I might go to 10. There's got to be like an equation with the weight to pressure to, you know, what starts the dribbling, bouncing. Because it's funny, it makes enough power that it'll blow all 4 tires off, and it does this weird kind of pulls the front end and then like bunny hops. And that's probably what's destroying the chains. And master links. So this, I just gotta set it up right because I don't need this catching. I mean, I'm trying to stay on flat ground with it, that's what it's for. But if I go too close to the ground and I go over unlevel ground, it would literally lift the rear tires off the ground. So then we would do another wheel spin, grab brake chains. So it's kind of crazy how it's working, and not having suspension, I've noticed a huge flaw is being rigid. You know, not even having the little teeter bar that lawnmowers have. Just pulling it in here front wheel drive. This thing, you can jack it up from like this one corner and the whole chassis will like stay flat and go up. That when I went over unlevel ground and the wheel floated, it would transfer the power to the not grabbing shit tire and just sit there and throw gravel and sand everywhere when I was trying to get it in here. But again, pavement, you know, semi-flat dirt, especially sand, ice drags, I would love to do. For 2 years I've been wanting to do it, and I'll show you. Up here I got 20-inch tall tires for the rear, 16s for the front, and there's over 170 something mint studs in it. It's gonna rip on ice. I have not got to try it, but in the yard, and it had no problem trying to wheel stand, which is where the original wheelie bar came in. But it's late, but early. I'm gonna freaking call it a night. Get out here, clean everything out. Oh, throw that somewhere for later in the day testing. Finish this trans, finish the cam and lifters. Get ready for, we got a viewing. That kind of sounded bad. We have somebody viewing the house Sunday. Today's Thursday, so we got what, Friday, Saturday, 2 days. Hopefully we start getting some interest because like I said, I want to build the new house shop on triple the property and just consolidate all the debt, pay it all off. We'll have no debt, and you won't have to just see one project like this lawnmower, which everybody's probably tired of. We'll have the shop truck build, buying the property, renting, maybe trying to buy equipment and overhaul the land, build the barn dominium. I got ideas. It's gonna be sweet. But I'll get to more of that. Oh, and I haven't forgot about the subscriber that said more information on, there's a few questions on that, but my office loft, free floating, I have a chain on one side. I'll get to that. But like always, till next time, you could do me a favor. Somewhere down here, I think it goes subscribe, like, share. There might be even a comment thing in there. If you could do all that, till the next video, everybody have a great day.